This is Chris Hansen.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
It's your favorite basketball player, Tyler Hansbrough.
This is Jamie Hudson.
This is TJ Houshmandzadeh.
And I'm going to let y'all know something.
Duke sucks and Duke will always suck.
You're listening to
It Just Makes Sense.
It just makes sense.
We are sports. We are nostalgia. We are pop culture. And we're funny sometimes.
I think overall we're just a good time.
They thought we couldn't do it. But guess what?
We're back.
Podcasts are free, and we can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
We never knew what we were doing in the first place.
Yeah, that is a good point.
She's been railed before.
She's been run over by a bull a time or two.
This isn't her first rodeo. She's been railed. No one wants to be a part of the circus right now.
For sure.
LeBron's had his time. Until Genie Bus is not in control anymore, there's nothing to look forward to if you're a Laker fan.
After all that,
No, for sure.
oh my God, stop.
And who are
Speaking
we
of
to
losing,
call people out on losing bets, okay? We suck at betting.
And remember, don't be afraid to fade yourself.
Next time you go full hearts, I'm going to go, after all that... I was watching.
Is that your strategy? Is that you're going to just shame me into how I say full hearts? How would you
I
say
was just
okay.
I was just imitating Karl Anthony-Towns.
Right. But I don't want to sound like Karl Anthony-Towns. So how would you say full hearts?
I don't think you need to hear how Braxton or I would say it. I think you just need to understand the context of what we're saying. That is said in the football huddle.
Or just listen to the way we say our parts.
Uh-huh.
But just picture, it's in the huddle. Like from a halftime pep talk to a speech.
Got it. Okay.
So there's not one player.
Just you wait till the end of this
Could
episode.
you imagine?
You're down one touchdown and someone goes full hearts. Dude, you're not playing the second half.
Yeah, can you imagine Coach Taylor saying clear eyes and then fucking
From the back?
Fucking Riggins is back there going full hearts. You goddamn kidding me?
with the hair flip?
There is
your ass on
there
the
is a video I saw yesterday of Karl Anthony-Towns' top 5 zestiest moments. It was fucking incredible.
He's like,
They nailed it too. So
Let me see if
so
I can find
it went
it.
from like the PG podcast to the post game interview. So one of them was after all that. That was one of them. The
Yeah.
other one was when he did this to his face and he goes, "Oh my God, stop!" That one I hadn't seen. I was like, "Holy shit, man! This doesn't help your case."
Let me see. Hold on.
After all that, and when he hit Paul George with, "Nah, for sure, for sure." This dude is zesty.
Top
half.
5 cat zesty moments. Let me see if this is actually what you were talking about. It's on. It's on your TikToks here. Cat's top 5 zestiest moments.
Bang.
Because outside looking in, like, we was like, damn, it's total chaos in Minnesota right now. Like,
No, for sure.
it was like Jimmy versus Minnesota. Like,
I said, let me take this charge real quick. That was probably the worst thing I ever could have done. That man fell right over me. You know, you ever seen that? Just like a train ran over.
no
like,
grace.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, why did I do that? my dumb ass over here trying to take a charge of DeMarcus Cousins, bro. Stop. But shout out to DeMarcus, man. Oh my God. Stop.
this is what movies is made of.
This is what movies
This is what movies is made of. 4 months away, I come back, 2 free throws. Don't worry about it. I got that.
Bro, you funny as hell.
Did you know I was gonna do it?
Bro, they asked me in media about you.
What?
They really did.
What the?
It's crazy because after all that, they took him off the court to put him even closer to the locker room. So I was like, all right. After all that,
Because outside.
There you go.
He's a corny ass dude, man. He's zesty as fuck.
If you do type in Karl Anthony-Towns zesty, here, this was like earlier. I think this was in the Mavericks series. I don't know if you can see this. Here he is. he's just like, oh, no, they Luka hit a shot.
You know what sucks? You know what sucks about Cat? For everything people can make fun of him for, this isn't even the worst. The one thing he's forever gonna have to live with is the fact that he got headlocked by Ben Simmons, and he had to tap out on the hardwood floor
by Ben Simmons.
fucking Simmons. That is embarrassing.
It's not the best. It's not the best. I don't know if you'd want to tap out or if you just didn't want to be involved at all. You guys hear about Party Bus? Party Bus the Bowl. Have you guys seen any of this coverage about Party Bus the Bowl? All right. Let me bring this up.
What you're talking about. It sounds like a radio station.
Yes.
Is this the bowl that jumped out of the ring?
It is the bowl that
Sisters
jumped out
Rodeo?
at the
Yeah,
Sisters
fuck yeah.
Rodeo. His name.
We didn't know his name.
His name is Party Bus. Since been
Those
retired,
idiots deserved
but not
it.
Murdered. No, the gal who was just standing,
Especially
there.
her and her group.
Why? She was just standing there.
Exactly you didn't see 1,000-pound bull coming at you and you just stood there?
So here's the bull. He's running around in the arena, and then he jumps.
Okay, and if you're there, you already saw him. Why are you just standing there?
Boom!
You see how everyone was running? They just stood there. Yeah, you deserve that.
That was a blind corner.
You know what was wild about that as well is that
Nobody died, right?
nobody died. 5 people were injured. Miraculously, that woman was uninjured. Essentially,
She knows how to
probably
take
little
a
bit
hit.
Sore. There was a post.
She's been railed before.
she's been run over by a bull a time or two.
This isn't her first rodeo. She's been railed. She's had it.
Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. She showed up at Bend 44 the next morning, a restaurant there, or a bar or whatnot. Despite being tossed by the bull, this is the woman here. She made it to breakfast the next morning at this Bend breakfast spot. So
I've
Good for her.
done a lot less the night before and not made it to brunch the next day.
You gotta get brunch with the boys and the girls.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Oh my God, stop.
Not for sure.
So so Party Bus has 5 people. It's hilarious. The number of people who were injured were the ones who were trying to like corral the bull. It was like a guy injured his knee because he was just like out of shape and just like and then he just it's kind of like playing pickup basketball or intramural basketball. And you just bust an Achilles or whatever, blow an Achilles. You don't
Maybe
bust
first
it.
thing you do is like make those walls a little bit taller so the bull can't jump over it.
That's got to be one of the first time
Dude.
that's happened.
But when you see that bull jump, like that bull got some serious. Yeah, let me bring this up here again.
This was an inside job.
Look at the height on that.
Great vert.
That's an incredible vert by that
Exactly.
bull.
So put on your tinfoil hats for a second. This wasn't an inside job.
He's on performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh, sure.
They injected him with shit, man.
So
Toradol.
he has since been banned from participating. Not
Oh,
killed though.
damn.
They
I wonder
did not-
how he feels about that.
They did not kill this bull. He is since been
Not yet.
Well, no. So they're still planning on actually creating mini party buses. So they're keeping him from competition, but they're not killing him. He's back
Yet.
on the farm, and he's going to be breeding with other cows.
I did see
So-
comments that said this rodeo is clearly not in Texas because that bull would have been shot within 5 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I thought that bull would get shot.
But does this apply to, like, you know how when a dog's misbehaving, you go, it's not the dog, it's the owner.
It's the owner.
Do you have that same opinion for like bulls or any other animals like
not
that?
a rodeo bull.
Not like, yeah, I mean, like you are being
Not the trainer or anything.
you're being bred to do this very
Yeah,
thing.
your whole point of your life is to be crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, it didn't know that it wasn't in the arena anymore. It just saw a thing. I'm pretty sure that woman was wearing red. Not like it's her fault.
It would be like Jordan getting drunk and like saying something crazy and almost starting a fight in a bar, and then all of a sudden we're like, Jordan, we have to kill you. It's like that's who he is.
That gal did not
I have
even...
said that.
That
Come
gal
to think
did
of it.
not even flinch.
It's like she knew the bull was coming, and she's like, I'm going to stand here and take it.
Yeah. The guy who, one of her friends, whoever that was, made sure to keep his beer, running after the bull to be like, "Wait, hey, what did you do to my friend here?" So my guess is that if you're during the middle of the festivities and you're at the bar of the rodeo, you're probably pretty lit up anyway. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Bull meat is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
probably amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Wagyu.
It's
right?
probably no. That's,
Well, like, I mean, they're nice and muscular.
but you get Wagyu from like
because they don't move.
they relax
Yeah,
the shit out of
they
them.
don't move.
This
The
has to be
exact
like
opposite
super
of that.
tough because
So, yeah,
they're
then
just going.
all muscle. So yeah, probably the opposite.
We're
of
going
that.
to a rodeo on Sunday.
We sure is. And that's the whole thing. We'll talk about it later. But I was very confused because now all of a sudden our friend Jesse can't go. He was like, "Oh gosh," and he's the one who bought my tickets. But that's for a later conversation.
So we have 2 extra tickets now.
Well, apparently he also didn't buy a ticket for my son. So there we go. So now
So we have 1 extra ticket now.
We have 3 extra tickets. So there's 4 of them. So they had 4. Yeah, they had 4. Now no one's going. But anyways, like I said, for a later time. Because what we also need to do is we need to talk about upcoming Father's Day here. Obviously, like my wife's asking me, like, what do you want for Father's Day? Blah blah. And I don't know. I just like it's hard because you just don't know what to say in those moments because it's whatever. But there is a promotion that has just come out. It is with Pepsi and Bobby Flay. And this is no joke. I had to look this up. I literally had to go to Bobby Flay's official Instagram account to be like, there's no way this is real. And in fact, it is. It is a promotion that is being done that he is promoting with Pepsi. It's a grilling and Pepsi-scented cologne. Introducing Smoked, a grilling-inspired cologne, cologne, developed in partnership with Pepsi in celebration of Father's Day. If you want to make Dad's year, head over to Pepsi for your chance to get your hands
So
on
Bobby
it.
has some gambling debts that he's trying to
Probably,
make right on.
It's just kind of like
So you want to smell like smoke without having the meat. That sounds
Just
terrible
a nice
to
smoky
me.
sweet.
yeah, something like that. It's not going to be sold in stores. It's purely a PR stunt and whatever.
This is stupid. Oh my God, stop.
Stop. I don't want to be smoked.
Speaking of meats, I told Braxton this earlier. This is fucking hilarious. Joey Chestnut banned
Thank you. That was the next
for the
segue.
4th of July Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
It is
For what?
for supporting vegan hot dogs.
No, he's the spokesperson for Impossible Foods for the vegan hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they said, go fuck yourself. We got all beef dogs here at Nathan's.
But here's also kind of the thing. They probably knew this was going to happen. He signed a $1.2 million endorsement deal with Impossible Foods, and he had only gotten $200,000 to be in last year's event. So, like, who's really coming out on top here?
Yeah, I don't think it's a money thing. It's just like the
I think
Nathan's
it's
hot.
dumb for Nathan's.
Yeah, how do you not sign this guy up in the first place? Or why lowball? We'll talk about lowball offers here later on with Danny Hurley. But
The same way that he got banned the same time that Kobayashi. I know Kobayashi doesn't do the hot dog thing anymore.
Right,
but
retires.
the same time that he retired.
How strange, though, right? It's like
Put on your tinfoil hat back on, baby.
why?
What's happening?
Why is it for him? He's just like taking the bag. Is that it? Like, was this a weird leverage play? Like, you have to know that this was going to happen. Like, this is a direct, maybe not direct competitor, but, like, you're not going to allow a freaking vegan or Impossible whatever to be on your stage if you're endorsing this. You're not going to allow that with all this Nathan stuff. And it's possible that they wouldn't have even allowed it because of the competition rules.
I know you said I don't necessarily disagree that it's dumb for Nathan's, but these competitive eaters, Nathan's is not even on the top half of the list for like making money. If Nathan's is like it gives them visibility by doing it for one day out of the year,
sure.
But they get nothing out of it outside of the fucking heavyweight belt and people talking about him for like 2 days.
Sure.
But these guys do like a strict 8-month like diet, and then for 4 months they go crazy. I mean, they do shit that I've never fucking seen. Like, who could eat that many like steamed buns or like 50 pounds of fucking noodles, whatever the fuck some of these people do. That's where they make their money, because the hot dog thing is just cool for a day. It's like a celebration, like a barbecue.
And honestly, and I don't know this for sure, but there's no way that they make most of their like income and livelihood off of just competitive eating. It's got to be from endorsements.
Sure.
So if you get a $1.2 million endorsement from a company, regardless of what it is.
Nathan's, they don't endorse people. It's just a one-day party. But him, like, he's not turning down that money.
Well, who owns it? Is Impossible? Who's Impossible Foods owned by? Like, why wouldn't they?
Nokia.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? You say that is that like Clorox owns like Casey Masterpiece. You know, it's just like all these companies. It's like there's just a few that own everything, right?
Yeah.
It's always so weird. So Impossible Foods, and again, it's like Impossible Foods may hedge and be like, hey, this $1.2 million that we're paying him with all of this like extra PR and the news and everything, obviously someone's making a big deal out of it. It's already paying for itself.
It's probably less about money. This is probably more about putting your foot down on its principle. Fuck vegan fake hot dogs. That's what that's where Nathan's is coming from here. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see that he had ever signed an endorsement deal, and it is a little bit like ironic that he even is endorsed by a vegan hot dog or a vegan company. It's odd to me that he would go that route, but
yeah, you think that guy cares about his body?
Yeah.
Let me eat fake meat.
I mean, it's just independently owned, Impossible Foods. So,
and honestly, I've seen quite a few interviews and YouTube videos of interactions with Joey Chestnut. Not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Joey Chestnut?
You guys got him.
Snaggletooth motherfucker.
He could eat.
It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't think this through.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like every single thing. Joey Chestnut, you know, why? And it's just everything on here. 6 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 30 minutes ago.
In the betting world, put your money on Matt Stoney.
Done.
He's the second place guy. He's going to win this shit.
But at that point, it's like so I don't know what the results were. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with 2023. Nathan's hot dog eating contest results.
I'd say Chestnut, Stoney, and Sonia.
Final results from 2023. I don't even who the hell is Stoney, because he's not even on this list.
Matt Stoney, the small Japanese kid, half Japanese kid.
Because Joey Chestnut last year had 62. And this guy named Esper, I don't even know who Esper is. That would be Jeffrey Esper had 49. So I mean you're off by 13. So it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Stoney's not on the list?
Maybe it's possible. Stoney's not on here. So maybe all of a sudden you get a little bit more viable competition here. You
Even
say
playing field.
Hey, let's create some intrigue. This is very much like what the NIL did, right? What things did to level the landscape of college football, to say, hey, Alabama can't have it every year anymore. So we're gonna, potentially usher in a new era.
You think
of Nathan's hot dog.
So what you're
because
saying,
I'm sure they thought that deeply about
what
it.
you're saying is Saban replaces Chestnut?
Love that.
Saban's ready to go.
Love that.
You know what they really need to do with that is like have a guy like a Saban with Pat McAfee or something like that on the call or whatnot.
I want to be there. That's like a bucket list thing. I just want like 4 dogs. I just want to go and give me 4 off the plate. I just want 4 Nathans.
Let's get you there.
Would you dunk it in
No,
some
I want
water?
to
You
enjoy
just want to
it.
enjoy it.
I'm not trying to compete.
You have to.
They don't even have condiments on their fucking dogs. I'm gonna take my 4, dress it up, and just enjoy it.
All right.
You're just asking if they have relish.
Yes.
He's gonna
Squeeze?
It's 12-minute time limit.
he's going to relish the moment is what he will do.
I'm gonna assume you guys did not check this at all, but I thought this was hilarious.
What's that?
Reddit users suggesting new NBA rules.
Oh, no, I have not seen this.
One of the rules: 15 seconds to inbound, but after 5 seconds, the defender can begin untying your sneakers or even tying them together.
Love that.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. If a coach gets a tech, the other team's coach has to shoot the free throw. That's fucking great. Substitutions would now be like hockey, just continuous play with guys coming on and off the bench without stopping the
hell
action.
yeah.
That would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
be
it
fun.
would. All of a sudden, just like corner 3 from like...
I don't know how realistic this one is, but it would be kind of entertaining. The rim moves up 1 inch every time someone dunks.
Oh, shit.
3-point line moves back 1 inch every time someone hits a 3.
Well, I suppose that works, but like, how do the corners go? Do you it just eliminates
I
the
guess.
corners? Yeah.
These are super creative. I found them really entertaining. If a team is down more than 30, a gold ball is released onto the court. So 2 balls at once. Gold ball counts for double the points, and both balls are live. No fouls when the gold ball is out there.
But, wow.
That's a video game. That would be fucking crazy.
Wow. That is pretty wild. That would be absolute pandemonium.
It would.
This Reddit user suggested an NFL style. The team consists of 7 offensive players and 7 defensive players, both given 10 possessions each before changing teams. So we can watch elite defenses versus elite offenses, like a 7-on-7 skeleton.
Okay. Back to the Golden Ball thing. It reminds me of when they were trying to do the group octagon, like group MMA fighting.
Yeah.
That would be kind of just like people in their corners just absolutely trying to decimate each other.
There's one that's becoming popular right now where it's like 1 large man against 2 small women.
Oh, against 2 small women. I saw
Yes.
like the world
For
like,
sex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A former world's strongest man going against like 2 TikTok fighters or something like that. Predictably, the world's strongest man kicked their ass. But
Yeah.
This last one is kind of likely because of the last All-Star game. Remember how they had the floor and
Oh,
it was
yeah,
lighting up and
yeah,
shit?
for sure.
So the last one is a hotspot circle worth 4 to 5 points that disappears and reappears in a different location.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And it occurs based on a crowd participation.
I think that's pretty sweet.
That's
actually a
probably
cool one.
likely.
There's like those like interactive games that people will play where they have to like jump around on an interactive board to like touch like the green safe zones, and if they like touch the red, then they lose, and it's like constantly.
I just
moving.
like to picture that a coach that's playing the Timberwolves gets a technical, and the hobbled up coach from the Wolves has to come out there and drain a fucking free throw.
That would be incredible, honestly.
Yeah. Speaking of hobbled up, I mean, have you guys seen this picture of Luka Doncic circulating around
Getting
before
ejected?
Game 2 of the NBA Finals? And also him walking in as well. There's that viral clip of him walking in and just like so stiff-legged and just like can't even move his back. This image, for those who are just listening, is like he's wrapped around his back, around his right knee. I mean, the guy is just at this point just so hobbled in the NBA Finals as the Dallas Mavericks down 0-2 to the Boston Celtics as Game 3 will tip off on Wednesday. This podcast comes out late Wednesday night, early Thursday, so that will have resolved itself, but we'll talk about the first 2 so far.
Yeah, he must have played more games than everybody else.
Well,
No.
at this
that
point,
didn't happen?
That didn't. No. But I mean, what we're seeing happen is like, especially in this series,
Is that your corny ass attempt on like dissing on Luka for being wrapped up and hurt?
He's just pretty well known for being like extra. And
Where are you getting that information from?
Well, and
do people not complain about his like constant yelling at the refs and always saying, "Oh, I'm being fouled" and things like that? Like, I respect Luka. I think he's obviously the greatest, or not the greatest, but the best player in the finals right now. But there's no doubt that he's a little bit extra.
yeah, and I think that like some of it may be a bit performative, but I think that what you're seeing with Luka and the Mavericks is that like you're running it in against a team that has done this year after year after year. They've won like, they've been to the finals regularly. They've won their conference. They haven't won it obviously, but they've been there. They know that tread is there.
Yeah,
and I think that like what you're seeing with Luka, despite the fact I think he's hit 8 of the 13 threes for the team. I think the other team is like 3 for whatever. He's the only guy. Kyrie did not step up to the plate. I don't think that it was because he let someone get into his head. It's just like similarly to what we saw in the Minnesota series, where Luka just kind of carried it through, and then there were just a couple of off games for Kyrie.
Yeah, I think the one thing you could knock him for is he's so good at every thing on the floor, from passing and rebounding to scoring, that they're not necessarily getting everyone involved on the team. I think that's the one thing you could knock him for. Like, some of the role players aren't as involved, like with Boston. You see Boston move the ball and like they would collapse on Jaylen Brown, and he gets to kick it out to Derek White or Drew Holiday or someone.
Kristaps Porzingis or Drew Holiday, two of your
And
stars in games 1 and 2.
That's not to say that Dallas doesn't have role players. It's just Luka has been just, he's deciding he's going to carry it, and he's putting up numbers to prove that. But maybe they'll do a little bit better if he finds those other guys.
Yeah, and that was kind of my point. I'm not trying to knock Luka. I understand that he is arguably the best player on the court in these finals. I don't think there's a ton of doubt around that. But it's pretty obvious that he's, unilaterally deciding that, I need to put this on my back. It's my finals to lose. I have to win this for us.
Sure.
And that doesn't seem to be working. And obviously he's pretty extra when it comes to his, being vocal about fouls and people hurting him and things like that. And it's just kind of funny to see. And this is obviously a sports fan take. He probably is injured and sore and all those things. I'm not trying to deny that. But the image is just kind of funny of like just being wrapped up on every single limb that he has and hobbling like
He's a bubble boy at this point.
Yeah, it's just a little comical to me.
And to your point where you're talking about, it feels like Luka might be like tightening up or seizing up or whatever to say, like, I need to will this here. Back to games 1 and 2, obviously the Celtics dominate game 1, a little bit closer in game 2, but you had more or less role players is kind of a loose term, but in Porzingis and in Drew Holiday, where even Jayson Tatum has played like, well, I wouldn't say he's played like dog shit, because like on the opposite side, he's done incredible on the defensive side, but from his like offensive shooting,
he's not
scoring, right? So here's a couple of stats for you. Since 1979-80, Jayson Tatum has the lowest field goal percentage in the NBA Finals when attempting 150 plus shots at 35.4%. In fact, he's only averaging just over 17 points in the series. And so, you look at what they have been able to do is that you didn't necessarily need Jayson Tatum. Again, 17 points per game on 19 shots and just 31.6.
That comes with the territory, though. When you become a superstar and you're a monster scorer and you're not living up to the expectation of scoring 30.
But you're up 2-0, which is great.
Well, besides
for
that,
them anyway.
Tatum is good enough to understand that. So if you score 16 in a game, that's okay for a role player, but that's not okay for a superstar because the expectations for you are a lot higher. But he had 12 assists and 9 rebounds.
And he was so active defensively.
So if people are forgetting assists, every dime that you dish, you're responsible for those points.
You're not just trying to score points all the time.
Technically, Tatum scored 34 because it's 16 points plus 18. It's the same
points
way that
accounted for.
People looked at John Stockton, people looked at Rondo. You're responsible for those points. That's why it's important.
Well, and also in comparison to Luka, you look at Tatum, and obviously his ability to facilitate has helped them win games, whereas Luka has his 30, 10, and 10, whatever.
Right.
And they're losing, and he's wrapped up with ice packs after the game, whereas Tatum's ready to go.
A big Luka hater, we have found out. Yeah.
I don't. I just said
money on the Celtics.
Yeah,
I just said that I think he's the best player on the court overall, and I think he's going to win multiple championships. I think he's going to do great. But I just think in this specific series, you can kind of tell, that's the differences between these two teams is having those role players, being able to not only have the role players, but be able to trust them as a star player, give up that. And I'm not saying that Luka has pride and is saying that, he has to do this for his character by any means. But Tatum obviously is able to step back from that and be like, hey, it's not just about me, having numbers. It's about winning a championship and about doing this for this team in this city. I'm willing to have a quote unquote off night and facilitate a little bit more if that means we win and my guys are able to score and we, at the end of the day, get a championship.
And so, talking about off nights, what's going on with Kyrie, though?
So that's what I was going to say. I'm kind of going to contradict myself here from my previous take. It looks like Luka is not getting his role players involved as much. But then we look at numbers. Luka consistently has over 8 or 9 assists. So then if we look at he's dishing it out, are they missing it? Is he trying to get his teammates involved? But really, what is the biggest difference in the series right now and why they are down 0-2? Both teams have a two-headed monster. Jayson Tatum's partner in crime is performing.
Sure.
Luka's partner isn't. So Jaylen Brown has been the leading scorer in both games.
He's probably going to be the MVP.
Kyrie has scored, I think, 12 and then 16. He hasn't been there. So maybe the storyline would be different had Kyrie been performing like Jaylen Brown, like the other guy.
Kyrie has not hit a three-pointer in this series. A total of 28 points in, what is that? 41 plus 36 would be 77 minutes of game action. So.
I don't have faith that Dallas will come back. I think the Celtics will take this series, even if Dallas wins a game or two. But I want Dallas to win, so I'm kind of reaching for everything that I could see. And one of the things that was kind of convincing is the year that Milwaukee won the championship. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So Milwaukee played Phoenix, and Phoenix was up 2-0. And Milwaukee ended up beating them in that series, I think, in 6 games. I think they just won 4 straight.
Yeah, that was the Kevin Durant foot on the line one, right?
No, that's Kevin Durant that was Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, that was Brooklyn.
This
You're
was
right.
still a
My
good,
bad.
I think this was Chris Paul, Ayton, Booker, and they were up 2-0. And
well, if Chris Paul was probably injured at that point, but yeah.
No, I think he was playing. But that's the only thing I could hold on to. Other than that, I don't think this.
Well, I mean, so and again, the likelihood of this game 3 being over by the time this podcast comes out probably pretty high, unless I can rally and get to it quicker. Is that for the fourth time in 99 games heading into game 3, the Boston Celtics are an underdog. 4th time in 99 games they've been an underdog. So. A value play to get Boston as an underdog, possibly. But
I don't know, man.
You're back home.
Boston they're clicking on every aspect of the game, and every person on their roster is clicking. It's hard to, like, if you're matching up head to head, like Luka, Tatum, Kyrie, Brown, they're past Jaylen Brown, they're outperforming the entire Mavericks roster.
Sure.
Derek White is playing out of his mind. Pritchard is hitting fucking shots, and he's playing more than like garbage minutes. And Drew Holiday scored 26 the other night.
Sure did.
So it's like they don't need Porzingis.
Yeah, well, yeah, but your hero of game, well, not hero, but your X factor of game one, and Porzingis now hurt again day to day, but has this like rare knee injury, which he's likely done. I'm sure that they're just smoke and mirrors at this point to try and, the guy. If you have a rare knee injury, you're more of a liability if you're out there, especially if you're up 2-0. You're not going to play that game. But, I mean, so do they see their opening? I don't know. That's a possibility. So,
Yeah, even if they do take game 3, I mean, sorry to say, Miguel, I think that this series is all but over. Well, I mean, obviously we'll see. It would be a historical comeback if Dallas is able to make it happen. But I think you've seen from these 2 games that the Celtics from start to finish are a better team.
yeah.
That's the thing, though. Like, most NBA fans that are paying attention to basketball would not call this a historical comeback. The thing is, if the Celtics wipe them out, it's expected. I mean, if Dallas comes back, no one would be like, holy shit. They'd be like, yeah, they had Luka and Kyrie.
I mean, in just the view of public opinion, I think that most of the public
would not be surprised.
You think that?
Yeah, they would not be surprised because it's like it's expected in both directions, both ways. If Dallas came back and let's say Dallas won the next 4, people wouldn't be like,
I would be shocked.
Holy
I would
shit, how did they do that?
absolutely be shocked.
No, I don't think
how
people
this
would be
is gone.
surprised.
And I mean, especially when you're getting literally 2 points, 4 points, 3 points. So what is that? 9 points from your bench in game 2? Like, holy shit.
You would be shocked because of the stats from a previous game? No. First of all, the shock factor in the NBA has been taken away. We're no longer in a time where certain things have not happened. It's the same way that a 16 seed has already beaten a 1 seed in the NCAA finals. We've seen somebody come back from a 3-1 deficit that has never been done in the history of the league. So there's certain shock factors that's already gone. I'm not going to be shocked if Dallas comes back from being down 2-0 with Luka and Kyrie.
And that
I'm not saying it'll happen. I just saying I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah. I just think, at least from like when I'm looking at social media and kind of the conversation that's going on about this finals, most of what I'm seeing is saying this is a Celtics championship. It's pretty much over and done with. And so I totally respect your opinion, but to say that that it wouldn't be a shock to the general public, I think is a little outlandish.
Those same people that you're seeing that from are the same people that's going to go, well, not surprised Celtics blew it again for the 3rd year in a row.
Probably.
It's the same fucking people. So.
Yeah, but in the 2 games so far, the Mavericks bench has scored 29 points. I haven't necessarily looked exactly where the Boston Celtics came from, but you get 20 out of Porzingis in game 1, and then in game so let's see, it's 20. He did come off the bench, so that's 28, 30, 32, and that's just in game 1. Then you have, let's see, game 2 here, which was a 7-point game. One moment, please. But then again, it's like, okay,
solid
you get
150 points or
right.
whatever.
So it's like then you get Kyrie to turn it on all of a sudden, and then what? You hope that you just don't get Porzingis. I mean, the Celtics went into just 8 deep on that. So let's see, it's 32 plus 15 plus 17. 32 plus 17.
64.
49. So I guess neither bench is absolutely doing amazing, but then Porzingis out, maybe that levels the playing field. Who knows?
I don't think Porzingis is a factor with how Dallas will be able to win a game or come back. I think Dallas, Jason Kidd and Dallas, the coaching staff, being able to adjust a defensive rotation to not have Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum do kickouts. That's what's killing them. They're going to the paint and they're kicking out, and those guys are wide open. Having a better rotation of defense to stay with your guy or be able to rotate without having to come from one side of the court to the other. Because Boston's doing that, and never the whole time until I'm dead, I'm going to give Joe Mazzulla any fucking credit. But they're doing that. Jason Kidd needs to figure out how to stop those kickouts and be able to rotate players faster. Because that's how Derek White and Drew Holiday are getting wide open threes.
The thing is that, like, should Kyrie turn it on as well, I think that it's just going to be canceled out by whatever. I think that Jayson Tatum will, you can unleash that as well. So then, then you're basically back in the same situation. I could see this going gentleman's sweep at this point. It would expedite the final episode of our possible podcast here, since we go in line with the NBA
I don't
finals.
know why. And this is something that I've thought about for a long time, like since way back in the day, since I was a kid and watching basketball. Why wouldn't your strategy be, if you have a really good player or good players on the other side? And I know it's a lot easier to say it than like actually execute and do it. But if you're facing a Tatum or Brown and you're like, they're fucking nightmares, I don't know how to stop them. Why don't your strategy be to foul them out? I've always thought of that. Take Tatum is guarding PJ Washington. I'm going to feed PJ Washington and just have him be aggressive and get Tatum to foul out until they switch, and keep doing that with whoever he's guarding.
And just try and get
and just
a
try to
favorable
get him.
matchup on you.
It's a pussy way to play, but it's like if your back's against the wall.
Strategy is strategy.
If your back's against the wall, I've never seen anyone do that. But that also why I would make a horrible coach. I'd be like, hey, we have one move.
Yeah.
Get him out of the fucking game.
Yeah.
Get him out of the game. If you can't stop him, get him out of the game.
I kind of like it.
Well, then all of a sudden you say, okay, we're going to try and switch a favorable matchup on to PJ Washington, and then he's going to be the guy who's going to take you to the promised land. Is that what you're hoping
No,
for?
I would keep going to the guy whoever Tatum is guarding.
Okay.
Feed him the ball. Get whoever Tatum is guarding, we follow him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's why I didn't last as a coach.
An interesting strategy as well, if we can, and I guess it's probably on both parts. If we move on from the NBA Finals to some other news and notes in the NBA, Danny Hurley, who was once courted very quickly by the LA Lakers, is returning to the Yukon Huskies. It is now interesting to kind of hear all sides of the story, as, you've got the turf wars between Woj and Shams about who was right and, all this other stuff. Then
who's arguing for the other side here?
Well, so initially there was the J.J. Redick is the guy and everyone thinks is going to be. Then all of a sudden, very quickly, you see this courtship of Danny Hurley. And everyone's saying, well, where did this come from? You've had your coaching search open for a month. How is all of a sudden the first time you're talking to the guy that you favored a month after your head coaching search opens? And so then you have this brief courtship with Danny Hurley. Then he says, "No, thank you. I am back I'm back with UConn." So I am curious. Number one, did the Lakers mess this up? Do you buy that Danny Hurley was their target?
You keep calling him Danny.
Dan Hurley.
Are you thinking Bobby?
Yeah. Well, Dan Hurley.
There's only one story here.
What's the story? Tell me, the resident Laker expert.
It doesn't go past one argument. What do you mean did the Lakers mess this up? Yes, absolutely. They've been messing this up for decades.
Yeah.
The Lakers refuse to pay top dollar for a coach. The last time they did it was whoever was coaching Kareem, I don't remember his fucking Clint or whatever his name is, and Phil Jackson. Because Kobe and Shaq wanted to be coached by Phil Jackson. That's the only reason. And those coaches that were actually paid what they deserved was Jerry Buss days. Genie's in charge. When Mitch Kupchak was in charge, guess what those two have been doing? They've been fucking up the fucking franchise since they took over.
Yeah.
They're not willing to pay top dollar for a coach. They made an offer to Coach K in 2004 that would make him less money than Duke. Are you fucking? But they're like, but it's the Lakers. But the thing is, you had that back in the day. You had the appeal of, well, don't think about the money. You get to coach the Los Angeles Lakers, Hollywood, bright lights. That appeal doesn't exist today. What you're telling them is, hey, take the lowest amount that you can take and then get run out of town by LeBron. That's basically, you might as well put that on a fucking contract.
Oh, and you have to draft his son.
Yeah.
But you know what? They have a better chance of getting a coach post LeBron era.
That was part of the
No
thing.
one wants to be a part of the circus right now.
For sure.
It's over. LeBron's had his time.
So, are you saying that LeBron is difficult to deal with?
I don't. That if you're trying to get me to agree with Peter, I'm saying like hardcore Laker fans are done. He's had his time. He enjoyed the COVID championship. He's had his time with AD. There's nothing to like look forward to anymore. He's only like, I'm not even gonna talk about aging because he's fucking performing at the highest level still.
Yeah.
But what else do we have to look forward to in 2 to 3 years? Let's get new people in there. There's nothing else. But that's essentially what you're promising coaches is, hey, you have to deal with this. You're probably going to be run out of town because the roster's not put together.
Right, because, I mean, Darvin Ham only lasted a couple years, and if you're thinking that LeBron's going to last a couple years, are you going to get yourself out of this contract?
So that's why, like, having a J.J. Redick or a Rondo is not crazy because those are the guys they can get. They want their shot. They want their chance.
Rondo
Rondo's name
apparently
has been
he's
thrown
gonna
around
be,
in there.
James Borrego, a former head coach as well, also who was on the Lakers staff. I mean, that's the thing. And here's why I bring up whether or not Dan Hurley's intentions were absolutely pure. Again, it's because your job's been open for a month. You haven't been, there hasn't been anything stopping you from this thing happening, right? The reason why anything like JJ Redick hadn't been announced is because he's, he's announcing the NBA Finals. He didn't want those things to interfere with itself. So then, hey, you throw your name out there, and then you have the opportunity to leverage yourself back with UConn and do all of that, and then to say, hey, the Lakers courted me, and then you still have the opportunity. You have the control. You have all those things. Sure, you're not going to get like NBA money to then go back, but you can leverage yourself. You're looking for a contract extension at UConn. You're looking for a three-peat. You've accomplished that. But again, it's the circus of the Lakers, and we've talked about this a little bit. It's like, does Dan Hurley want to coach a team that is led by a guy like LeBron James? Or would he benefit more from a younger team, say it were more like that college atmosphere?
Yeah, like the Thunder.
For instance.
I love Dan Hurley.
Or the Knicks.
I love
New York guy.
Someone young.
I love
for sure.
The Hurley family, and I love Dan Hurley. Don't for 1 second think that Dan Hurley sat there and cooked up this whole strategy thinking, I don't know if I want to coach LeBron. I think I might want to coach a younger team. No, he didn't take the deal because it wasn't enough money. That's it. It stops there. Everyone has a price. If he was actually offered for 7 years or 5 years, if he was offered $120 million, he would have fucking signed right there.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for 70, I think it was.
Yeah, it wasn't enough money. This isn't like him going, oh, I'm not sure. Like, no, the price wasn't right.
And I agree with you, Miguel, because I think with all of these guys in professional sports that money is one of the top priorities. But I think that, it's one of those conversations where it's like, this isn't enough money, and, I don't want to necessarily deal with LeBron. I'd rather have a younger team. Like, I think that's kind of the order of operations with their thought process. I don't think that's the sole reason, but I do think that it's included in that thought process.
Well, I think that, like, you weigh your option too, and you say, like, this guy's going to get paid $11 million, 11.5, 11.6, whatever it is. But and that would make him like a top 5, top 6 paid head coach in the NBA without any NBA experience, right? I suppose that, these guys will eventually get paid more and more as time goes along. But, you kind of weigh that option. Like 11.6 is nothing to sneeze at. But then there's obviously like the talk like, oh man, the Lakers are going to back up the Brinks truck for Dan Hurley. Then you hear what the offer is. You're like, wait, hold on. And then that creates the whole news stir of is Jeannie Buss in the Lakers a like kind of old school billionaire? And what I mean by that is that you have, new ownership with Phoenix. You have relatively new ownership with the Clippers and what Steve Ballmer is doing with the new arena, with the coach, with the team and the money that you put up. It's just kind of like, are you saying like, listen, you take a pay cut for the fact that you are representing the purple and gold?
Before Jeannie took over, Mitch Kupchak ran this franchise down to the fucking ground. Then Jeannie took over with some consultation from Phil Jackson, who she's dating.
Right.
But Phil's not
and
involved.
With Kobe's
Is that for
agent.
real?
Yeah.
And with Kobe's agent. Well, not anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jeannie Buss dated Phil
She's
Jackson.
dating Jay Moore now. Funny enough.
But until Jeannie Buss is not in control anymore, there's nothing to look forward to if you're a Laker fan. So, like, you need new ownership there. She doesn't know what the fuck. Her dad was the best fucking owner. Her dad was Showtime. Her dad was Magic. Her dad got James Worthy all the way to fucking working with Jerry West and getting Kobe. He made deals that other owners were going, how the fuck did you do that? And we're jealous of him. Jeannie Buss doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. And she's just going to run this franchise down the ground. It's going to be even worse post LeBron because they're going to scratch the whole thing. They're going to be left with, I don't know, Taurean Prince as their number one player. And then it's going to be a full rebuild from the ground, like completely gutted.
And that's another thing, too. If you look at the options that Dan Hurley was looking at, which was the fact that, like, okay, you offer me 11.5, 11.6. That doesn't get me, like, too excited. His wife, very much a Jersey gal as well. Like, they've got that in their blood. Then you come in and you say, well, I don't necessarily know if I want to coach an aging roster with a superstar who will motherfuck me up and down if things don't go my way. And then number 3, they don't have control over their first round picks in 2025 or 2027. So now where are you left at? You're just kind of like have to put your trust in free agency or anything like that.
I think regardless, though, like, you think about the Hurley family, they've accomplished what they want to accomplish outside of Bobby as a coach, maybe. Like, if Dan Hurley stopped coaching college today, he's done it. He's won 2 championships with UConn. His dad is a fucking legend in high school basketball. Bobby is a legend as a college player, but his time at ASU hasn't really panned out. He's made the tournament, but they've never like won anything significant outside of like an NIT tournament or something. But as a coach and as part of that basketball family, the final step is the NBA.
Yeah, which he's said he has aspirations for.
Yeah, and no one's going to deny that. Like, they want to get to the NBA. I just don't think it doesn't matter where he fucking ends up, whether it's a LeBron-led Lakers or like a young Sacramento Kings team or Charlotte. His coaching style would have to change for him to stick around in the league because the way he coaches works for college. It doesn't work for the fucking prima donnas in the NBA. He doesn't yell at him. He can't do that. These guys will tell him to fuck off.
It's kind of like how the transition that Chip Kelly thought he had when he went from
or like an Urban
Eagles.
Meyer, probably not the best example, but same kind of thing.
And so here's also if we can compare different leagues and all that stuff. I was thinking too about like how Ben Johnson is playing himself as the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. And so he interviewed everywhere. He had all these, he was the front runner. He had just came off this amazing season with a team that shouldn't have been there, hadn't been there in a long time. And it's kind of like, and he talked about this at OTAs for his media, where he was like saying, listen, like this, I love doing this, and I want to have the right, I want to be able to still call plays. I want the right ownership, and he is going to be up here every year until he decides exactly the right fit. And that's, I think, what, like, the NBA is going to come knocking again for Dan Hurley. And he can come back and he can get a little bit more money and he can try for the three-peat and say, hey, the Lakers wanted me. And open that door, open that can of worms for the possibility to be able to say, this is the roster I like. But this is the city this is the region I like. This is all of those things.
There's a risk. There's a risk that's still present when it comes to that, though. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying it'll happen, but it's the same way that a player decides to stay in college versus go to the league when they have the opportunity to. Then you get hurt, and then you don't have the same draft level or, same attraction from teams. Who's to like that interest towards Dan Hurley? The way we're talking about it now is because we still know him as a champion. What happens if UConn fails? You think that interest level is going to stay where it's at? What happens if they don't win another championship? What happens if they don't make the tournament? It's not going to be the same. Say what happens if Ben Johnson fails? Detroit tanks all of a sudden from a great season. That's why people that are not in your shoes are always like, the opportunity will come again. No, when you're staring millions of dollars in the fucking eye, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
I think that if the Lions miss the playoffs this upcoming year, I think Ben Johnson is still one of the top-tiered coaches to get a head coaching job once it is all said and done.
If there's not a lot of options. And I'm not just talking about one season.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but Dan Quinn. I mean, let's look at Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's been the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and they keep underachieving. Gosh, he got a head coaching gig after they got their ass handed to them against the Packers in the playoffs. It was a terrible defense, and then it's like, well, I guess this is the time for me to go get a head coaching job, and now there he is with Washington. So I think that it's like, I think it's going to come back around. Yeah. And there will be a franchise that's looking for some sort of PR move or whatever, and Dan Hurley is the guy to do that. Absolutely. 1,000%.
I think coaches, in the example that you gave, is for, comparatively to players, they get way, way, way more leeway in that sense. And to bring up Dan Quinn, he was the coach of the Falcons, right? In that comeback?
Yeah, he was.
Like the biggest comeback of all time.
And Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I think it would take a lot more of a UConn downfall, than just a missing the tournament or, something like that.
You can blame NIL. Yeah, I know that he has his best player coming back. Dan Hurley does with UConn and everything. And he did it last year with all new players who were, arguably not as good of a roster, whatever. But, you could blame a myriad of things. Injuries, NIL, all these different things.
Yeah, but you also have a rotation of NFL coaches that you're talking about, the Ben Johnsons and the Dan Quinns of the world. You have these guys that if they don't succeed as a head coach, they go back as a coordinator, and then they're kind of brought back up to that level.
Sure.
Because they're still good.
Yeah.
Name college basketball coaches that have been successful in the NBA or have just gone to the NBA.
I would say that Billy Donovan's been pretty good.
One.
And then you had Fred Hoiberg. I mean, he wasn't amazing, but he got them to the playoffs with the Bulls as well.
Hoiberg, Donovan.
You're not talking about
Brad Stevens.
Yeah, Brad Stevens.
So Dan Hurley has a super small sample size.
Sure.
Of what could back him up when it's time to go to the league.
Hoiberg's not a great example, by the way, for anyone coming at me in the comments there. But still,
Stevens had a couple great seasons. Now he makes a better GM, which is the reason why the Celtics are in the position they're in now. But I'm just saying, Hurley doesn't have a big sample size of people that have made it in the league. for him to still get the same interest down the road, especially if they're not performing at the level that people expect them to.
Sure. I get that.
But I do think that he has a little bit of a runway. You get what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah. I'm not denying that.
He has probably 5 years to continue to coach UConn. And let's be honest, they're not going to be shit. They're going to be just fine. He's obviously created an environment of success. He has a lot of returning players, as he mentioned. And I think he's going to be just fine, at least for the foreseeable future. And he's going to be – and I think this is a smart decision. All in all, I think this is a smart decision by him because I agree. I do think that finding a team in the NBA that is a good fit for him is probably an important factor to his decision. Maybe not so much as how much money he makes, but it's definitely a part of that decision. And I think if he can wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years and get a team like the Thunder right now, or like the Kings, or like the Knicks, who are a little bit younger and are willing to take on a coach who has a championship experience and is able to kind of bring his way of thinking and his mold into the fold, and not get that fight back from like LeBron James or kind of one of those star players. If I were him, I would say, hey, I can continue to be successful at UConn. I can wait a couple years and get more than what the Lakers are offering me now and be put in a position with a younger team where I can have a little bit more control. That's a way better fit for me.
And I'm not sure how it's going to relate, but obviously there's this like brand new media rights deal that is coming down the pipeline, which is going to open the door for players to get paid $95 million a year, which is just insane. Obviously that's not going to be anywhere near what coaches make, but I just kind of wonder what the possible landscape would be for a head coach.
It's going to affect it.
Yeah.
Players' pay goes up, coaches' pay goes up. But you know what won't change? Lakers will not pay for a coach. That's never going to change. The Cleveland will outpay them. Like so and so will outpay them. They refuse to pay for a top tier coach.
Yeah,
that's why they're never going to have a top tier coach.
Well, I am curious too when it comes to like the possible outrage of things as well as what's going on with the WNBA. Actually, more so, again, we're bringing up Caitlin Clark once again, left off the women's national team roster for the Olympics coming up. And, there's a lot of feelings to be had there. For sure, because, some people say, like, how could you leave Caitlin Clark off? Because if this is an international stage and she would bring so many eyeballs and it would grow the sport exponentially. But then there's the other side of the coin. There's this where it's, one, is she one of the top 12, 25 players right now? She's 22 when the average age of the people who were announced are 26, 27 years old who have been on that roster. And two, what happens if she joins that team and then she doesn't play? It's a lose-lose situation. We go, whoa, why isn't she playing? And it's just like, so you have to kind of go with.
But I think you have to choose what hill you're going to die on.
Exactly.
In this argument.
I agree.
Because you can contradict yourself throughout all of sports. Bronny takes, LeBron takes, whatever. Do you want Caitlin Clark for the marketability? Is that why? Because I'll tell you, she's great, and she's going to be the face of the WNBA. She is not better than any of the girls.
And who would you leave off, right?
No one. Yeah. And people have taken the stance of, well, she could have taken Diana Taurasi. She's 41, whatever. Okay, number one, a 41-year-old WNBA player is not the same as a 41-year-old NBA player. They play 30 games a fucking season.
Yeah.
Okay, her body's not beat up. She will beat Caitlin Clark one-on-one today.
Diana
with one arm tied behind her fucking back.
And it's a much different style of play, much more fundamental. It's not as, athletically based like the NBA is.
And not to say that Caitlin Clark won't be good with that, but you're also, one big thing you count on in the Olympic Games is chemistry. That's why that's why NBA has lost in a few of those years.
Yeah.
Because they think they can just put together superstars that have never played together, but they don't know how to gel together. These WNBA players that are on the roster, they've all played together.
Yeah.
So to bring Caitlin Clark in, I think would mess that up. I get the marketability. I get people watching the Olympics because of her. But I think this was a better move than her being on the team, because I think if she was on the team, to your point, she'd not fucking play a minute.
I think it would be, and
I don't think she would play.
And I think it would be a disservice to her when all is said and done, because it would just perpetuate the certain feeling that a lot of people, at least it seems like on the interior from the WNBA, are just like, oh, she just got it. You know,
Yeah.
People
this
also
isn't-
said
it's an
she-
entitlement.
People also
Yeah.
said she could take Brittany Griner's spot. Brittany Griner's a dude. She's a straight up dude.
I
I don't
mean,
know
like,
if you guys
she's-
have been seeing shit with Brittany Griner. She's a dude.
Yeah.
She's a fucking dude.
Well, and I think that Brittany Griner has the opportunity, especially being imprisoned in Russia, to be like, you know what? If she wants to do it, who's gonna stop her?
Yeah.
That type of thing.
And also, I think that behind the scenes, Caitlin Clark is probably going,
She's been playing nonstop for like 10 straight months. Like, give the girl a
Like-
break.
I'm sure she's like, I'm sick of this attention. It's a lot. I'm playing constantly. I would love a month and a half, 2 months to just relax and have people not fucking utter my name.
Yeah. And the thing is that, she's 22 now. She'll play when she's 26, 30, 34.
Yep. All the way
36, 40.
Yeah, exactly.
She has the opportunity to tie, if not surpass, Diana Taurasi, who, an amazing accomplishment to be in her 6th Olympic Games, Diana Taurasi.
And
The most annoying thing, which obviously we've addressed before, it's like none of this is Caitlin Clark's doing.
Yeah.
The most annoying part of this whole thing, you know how I feel about the media, but outside of the media are the brand new WNBA, quote unquote WNBA fans that found Caitlin Clark a year ago. And they're just like,
3 months ago.
I love CC. Go Caitlin Clark. Go Iowa. You never watch a WNBA game before she... And that's great. That's what she does. That's what she brought to the league. But those are also the most outspoken, loudest people.
Yeah.
AKA Duck fans chip era.
And people
You
will
never
watch-
heard from them, and then boom, all of a sudden they're fucking taking over everything.
People will watch the Olympics, too, on the Olympics name alone as well. So there's that aspect.
well, and another thing is, worst case scenario, she makes the team, and I think they've won 8 gold medals in a row.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're going to walk to another championship, it feels
If
like.
for some reason Caitlin Clark is added to that team and they lose, get a silver,
She gets all the blame.
she is 100% responsible.
And the possibility that she ends up on that roster remains, is that, there can be, and we see this in all-star games, we see this all the time with injury replacements and such.
Yeah.
It is not unrealistic
Or the
to
other
think that she
side
could
of
find
that,
her way on there.
they don't win the gold, and they're like, but if Caitlin Clark was on the
Yeah,
team,
well,
But you
there's
want that.
side.
If
You
you're
would've
her,
won the
you
gold.
want
You
that.
want, yeah.
Yeah.
Let
no,
those people do
if
that.
you are everyone else, you want that. If you're Caitlin Clark, you don't want that. That is not the attention that you want.
Yeah.
You talk about players like shoulder checking you right now. You
Yeah.
get that kind of attention. They're just gonna straight up they're not even hiding it. They're just gonna eye gouge you in the
It's
middle
like,
of the
well,
fucking free throw line.
Pull a shiv.
This is like, she's gonna stab you.
This is prison rules. We got prison. But I mean, like, again, it's like, oh, how does she get on this? She was like, I was at home watching you. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing anything. Like, why are you bullying me for
I don't
this?
know how much WNBA talk we have left, but I definitely wanted to sneak this in. There's these 2 guys doing a podcast. They're fucking annoying as shit. Their content definitely isn't the same as ours, but they do top 10 shit of everything. Have you seen these 2 assholes?
I don't know.
They're like top 10 chips, top 10 junk food, top 10 football teams, whatever. And I've seen it enough that they have not had one accurate list of anything. So I saw one.
Are they trolling, you think? Or they're
No,
just
no, no.
wrong?
They're trying to get get views.
Yeah, they're trying to get this reaction for those for people to comment.
Right,
and
so you're
shit.
taking the bait, but that's fine.
I'm not taking the bait because I'm not commenting. I'm bringing it to you guys. But
This is not a
You're
comment.
bringing it to it's not a comment personally, but we are listened to internationally
I think
in 18
me
different
following
countries.
them and leaving a comment means I took 100% of the bait. So maybe I'm taking 20%.
Okay,
Sure, yeah.
we can agree.
But they
on
had
that.
a list yesterday that was fucking infuriating. Top 10 movie quarterbacks, or movie and TV show quarterbacks.
Okay.
So then immediately we go Friday Night Lights times 2, movie, TV, right? Mm-hmm. Remember the Titans. Mm-hmm. You got, a lot of people, this is for some reason underrated. This is one of the best football movies, The Program.
Oh, sure.
Not a lot of people have seen The Program.
never seen it.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah. Varsity Blues and all this shit. So this list had Lance Walker, Paul Walker from Varsity Blues, Johnny Moxon, James Vanderbeek from Varsity Blues. It had, you remember that you didn't get deep into the Friday Night Lights TV show.
No.
The fucking the kid who took over at the normal school
Yeah.
with an annoying dad.
Yeah.
He was on the fucking list.
No.
That they're trolling.
And so I'm talking
the
about
young kid who
with an annoying dad.
With the annoying
He
dad,
was on the
rich
list.
dad.
Vince, so Michael B. Jordan was on the list. I'm fine with that. They had Willie.
Was a guy from All American on there or whatever?
They didn't have All American.
Yeah.
The most frustrating, I don't need to name the whole list. The most frustrating was they didn't have Joe Kane from The Program. That was huge. I don't care if you haven't seen The Program, people know Joe Kane should be on there. Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday, Jamie Foxx, needs to be on there.
Wasn't on there?
Sunshine, Ronnie Bass from the fucking Remember the Titans, it needs to be on there.
He needs to be number one.
Sunshine wasn't on there?
Sunshine wasn't
oh,
on there.
come on now.
Sunshine, dude.
Sunshine wasn't on there.
I like how you went to another octave there.
Sunshine.
It would,
He went full hearts just
it would-
now.
Nah, for sure. It's fucking frustrating. You see that list. There's no Sunshine. There's no Willie Beeman.
These guys have never seen a movie.
There's no Mike Winchell. She's your mother too, you know. Hey, Booby.
He didn't live.
Booby, you didn't live. There's no Mike Winchell. Are you fucking kidding me?
Man.
There's no Mike
That is
Winchell.
bullshit.
Goodness gracious.
That is bullshit.
I mean, I couldn't agree more, first
yeah, I
of
mean,
all.
honestly,
Thank
the
you.
outrage
I
is-
could
God
not.
damn it.
If that's the only thing we agree on tonight, the three of us, I think I'm fine with
good
that.
for us. Good for us to agree on this. A couple of NFL news and notes.
Oh, Jason Street was on there. I agree with that.
Okay.
Jason
Perfect.
Street.
Yeah,
Perfect,
I know.
perfect.
Even though he was like there for an episode.
yeah,
before.
he was in
Where
a
was
wheelchair
Saracen?
most of the time.
He went down on season 1 pilot episode.
Yeah, he was
Fucking
literally.
terrible.
Yeah, there was
Jesus.
100 episodes
Yeah.
of him not playing
For
quarterback.
months, actually, maybe even years. I'll just play it safe and say months. People have been telling me, watch Friday Night Lights, watch Friday Night Lights. And the first episode, this fucking Notre Dame headed quarterback gets hurt.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, and I have 5 seasons of this?
Yeah.
What's about to
Buckle
happen?
up, brother.
Where was Saracen on the list? Not on there? I mean, it's not
Saracen,
good.
Saracen was on there.
Oh,
Okay,
whatever.
I can respect that.
I can't, but I mean, it's not
I
that
mean,
great.
listen, no Mike
Julie, I
Winchell,
love you.
no Beeman, and no Sunshine.
I
It was terrible.
just want to have sex with your
Hey,
daughter.
Coach, I know I need to watch these DVDs for training, but I want to fuck your daughter. Hey, Coach Taylor, I want to fuck your daughter. I want to go to Chicago. I don't know. Hey, Street, I don't know if I can lead this team.
What did he get? Didn't he get into like painting?
He got into peanut butter. That's what he did. Hey, Street, those guys are huge. I don't know if I can. I want to fuck Julie.
What's the line? If you can throw the slant, they'll fear you. Or,
If you could throw this route, it's the out top route. He said if you could throw, if you can throw a slant and they'll respect you. If you master this route, they will fear you.
They'll fear you.
I love that scene in Friday Night Lights,
damn.
man. I love that scene.
chills. All right, give us the NFL, Pete.
NFL,
give it to us hard.
A couple of news and notes. I think I found my favorite new NFL writer, and I will tell you why. I came across...
Jaworski?
No. I came across this article. It is USA Today, I believe it is. Jarrett Bell. The headline, Aaron Rodgers skipping New York Jets minicamp is another example of bad optics from a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers skipping minicamp, unexcused absence, says Robert Saleh, for an event that was very important to him. But Robert Saleh
UFC fight that he was there with Donald Trump.
But I'm sure it was some sort of right-wing conspiracy, whatever, vision quest thing.
I don't understand what Aaron Rodgers is really getting knocked for. Is he Republican? Or is he, because he was at that UFC fight and Trump walked by and people were giving him shit for not extending his hand or acknowledging Trump when he walked by.
Listen, I don't know why he's not there. I just know that Robert Saleh is pissed off. It's unexcused. Like, there's tons of guys who aren't there because of contract situations or what have you. But I just loved that this one was talking about bad optics. So... I love that. Who knows? The guy, he's going to eat a $25,000 fine and be fine, but whatever. I did love that headline, though. Then you have, and this is what I'm most curious about, Madden 25.
Ever heard of it?
Everhoyd, the latest cover boy.
They've announced it?
Do you have a guess? Do you know?
You had me guess last week. Was any of my guesses right?
What did you say last week?
Yeah, I was stupid. I said Lamar, but he's been
not
on
there.
The cover. I said Mahomes and Kelsey.
Mahomes was 23.
I said Jason Kelsey.
Neither. None. No Kelseys. No Taylor Swifts.
Let me guess.
Oh, you don't know either.
No.
Interesting. This is great.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian
It is?
McCaffrey is your
That's
cover.
well deserved.
Yes.
That's well deserved.
However, is it... I mean, and it is funny because everyone always talks about the Madden curse, right? But, I mean, the curse really is for the 49ers that they have been to multiple Super Bowls. They've won their championships. They've done all that. They still haven't won the freaking...
It's the Patrick Mahomes curse for them.
Yeah, probably.
And McCaffrey's also been injured for a good portion of his career.
Well, and so then you come again, is that Christian McCaffrey in line to probably be the number one fantasy pick?
The curse has been broken, though, right? The curse has been broken.
More like, but it's still there. I mean, it's still not there.
When Tom Brady and Mahomes shared the cover, neither of them got hurt.
But then people are like, oh, it was a shared cover.
Sure.
Okay, so who was after that?
I think that just John Madden was the cover again because he died.
So that killed him. So that's a big curse. What's next?
Josh Allen.
I just farted laughing.
He did.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was next?
Yeah.
Did he get hurt?
It just wasn't good, and I don't necessarily.
It's not
think
necessarily about
it's
getting
a hurt.
It's about not doing well in general.
Not performing to the ability of which one expects you to. So
if you're a player, you almost I don't want it.
That's the thing. I mean, that was kind of the narrative for a while.
There's also a new one that I saw, the visor curse. Not a single quarterback that wears a visor has ever won a Super Bowl.
Oh shit! Really? That's true. Yeah.
Because he can't see.
Could you imagine if Brock Purdy wore a fucking visor? Nah. I would love that. That would be so funny.
I just got a notification that to get fantasy football started.
Nice.
It's June.
Yeah.
Buckle up, baby.
I did just do this though. So because we're doing addresses for our guest list, I went through our fantasy football chat to find Naoko and Austin.
Yeah.
That was one of the best 20 minutes of my life. Going through all the way to the beginning and just seeing how it's progressed from the people that were in it from day one through the fights.
Yeah,
through the civil interaction. And it was this is one of my favorite parts when people were sending messages and then just the year that Peter was busy with a toddler and just didn't have time to set his lineup, and people were like, fuck you, Peter, all that. and that was like a full day. People were just knocking him, and he wasn't responding. And then Jordan says something, and Peter immediately goes, Jordan, you don't know shit about responsibility. You don't have a toddler. You don't have home renovations. You don't know shit about responsibility. And Jordan goes, you want to take this out of this group text? You want to text me directly?
And we did text directly. You know what was funny about that? I remember that fight vividly because the reason why I hadn't been, because I believe that was like end of November, early December when that was happening. And so I remember vividly, I was sitting on top of my roof. No joke. I think I was either cleaning out gutters or putting up Christmas lights. And I remember having this like text fight either in the group chat or with Jordan individually.
So Jordan has a history of pissing off the commissioner.
While I was on the roof of my house, I remember just like it was cold. I couldn't feel my fingers, but I was like trying to tap feverishly. It was great.
Yeah.
Love you, Jordan.
I thought it was great. There were so many interactions there, all the way to like me and Jara were talking shit to each other. It was great. And then all the way to like the season where people were trying to dethrone you.
That was
trying to
pissed me
impeach you.
off.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
What was funny was when Jordan came after you that hard that one time, he sent me a text right before he wanted to like, you know, dethrone you or whatever as commissioner. He goes, all right, back me up on this. But the thing is that I was getting my hair cut at the time. So I didn't have my phone on me
Jordan
at all.
sends a message and then like
And it was
Yoko, Jara, and Natalie were like, what's your problem?
Fuck you, Jordan.
Yeah. And I'll never forget that because it was a long message that like and I know obviously
It was so declarative or whatever.
and like so specific.
Yeah.
And I texted him on the side and I was like, Jordan,
Are you serious?
Are you serious right now?
That's why you can't be mad at it. Because that's like, you remember in Ron Burgundy, the anchorman, he goes, you ate a wheel of cheese? That's just impressive. Jordan went so detailed with trying to impeach you that I'm like, whether or not you're serious, I'm fucking impressed by that.
Shake my hand.
I'm excited to go into the next year. I hope that I've learned from that mistake of taking Jordan seriously at any point in my life.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm just excited for football. Excited for
Did Jara
fantasy.
win last season?
No.
You did.
You
I did.
this 8-8 motherfucker or whatever you were, you 500 bitch.
Yep.
God damn it.
Yep. Yeah.
So no one's taking McCaffrey because he's on the cover.
I know, that's the thing. Like, it's like, if I had the first pick,
We
would I
could
take
make
Christian
deals.
McCaffrey? Like, man, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Yep. So we'll see
After all that, I'm fucking hungry, dude.
Yeah, we've got
starving.
just a couple more weeks here before we are on our summer hiatus.
Not a big deal, but it is my birthday next week. If
That is
anybody
true,
cares
yeah.
about that,
We're gonna have a lovely dinner, hopefully.
on Friday.
Don't jinx it,
Yes.
dude.
Well, yeah, I don't know why I said hopefully.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
Yeah, never mind. And then we're going to.
Are you
and
not going to be there?
No, I will definitely be there. I don't know if I'll be on next week if we get like run over by party bus or whatever. But
Yeah, that'll happen.
I fucking dare him. If that lady can handle it, I can handle it.
he does want to run with the Bulls, so we'll let him try that.
The number
Put
of
that theory to the
number of texts I got from that episode going, you're not running with any fucking
Yeah.
Bulls, you bitch.
You're not running with the bunnies.
You're not running with nothing. You ain't running with nothing.
Oh goodness! All right, Pete. No pressure. Clear your eyes.
Full hearts!
Can't lose. That is much better, actually.
That's going to be every week.